Welcome back to the Zodiac Trial. Or should I say, the Zodiac bid? This is the Zodiac Race Mark II. I certainly didn't expect things to take this turn after the events tied to Dog being bloody murdered, but I guess the whoever it was who came down the stairs with the shotgun is the same person who catnapped the rest of the cast at Dog's Bar. So what do we know about this new game so far? It seems like... For starters, it seems like there might be a traitor again, which is interesting. Which means maybe a reveal of a traitor in the cast the whole time. Which is very interesting. The second point, it seems like the impression that they're giving us is that this game was put together in a hurry. Like, nowhere near as professional and detailed as the Zodiac Race. Which poses the obvious question of why. Now, this is just my thought, but... and it doesn't even lead to anything, but... I feel like one thing you can ascribe to that is the fact that assuming the person who planned out the game and who agreed that Mouse, Snake, and Dragon were needed to die, but didn't kill them this time when they killed Dog. The question there is why? So why did Mouse, Dragon, and Snake need to live going into this game? What is the purpose of this game? And what connection does it and the cat have to the murder of Amadeus Bowen? Because right now, obviously this isn't going to be a full game. It's certainly significant in that it seems like, on one hand, we're going through, like, what is essentially everyone's character epilogues, getting questions which seem to be the core point/theme of each character's route, and also reminiscing on their involvement in the murder of Amadeus Bowen. So we had 3 left: Rooster, Monkey, and Pig. Monkey's reaction was interesting, in that she was the first one to protest the rules of the game and try and settle matters. We know her thoughts in her route. I'm gonna be really interested to talk to her. Rooster. I hadn't heard much from Rooster about the whole incident, but he was also there. Surely he had something to chip into this debate, right? Hopefully. I found him wandering in some auditorium, as though he was also looking for someone. Ah, Mouse. What is it? Want my autograph? Rooster, I thought we've established at this point that I'm not just some fan. Of course you're not just some fan. You're my #1 fan, right? I kid. You do know that a lot of this is a shtick, right? It's hard to tell sometimes. Anyways, what did you want to talk about? The Amadeus Bowen case. Is there anything you can tell me about it? That old thing? Don't get me started on it. Just thinking of that Amadeus asshole will get me heated. Look, I wasn't even brought in during the trial, so clearly nothing I saw was all that particularly relevant, huh? There's gotta be something you can tell me. I don't know what you're expecting from me, Mouse. I came in, sat down by Tiger. I had one of those water cups sitting out because I was thirsty. I don't know something that thing just didn't agree with me, so I had to get to the restroom. Stat. After I dealt with that situation, I returned to the waiting room. I was kept waiting for far too long. The time of the progeny is very precious, Mouse. Don't forget that. So I stormed into his office, just to find he wasn't even there. Looked around the place, but then Sheep came in and started nagging me, telling me to leave. So you just looked around his office? Just liked the architecture? Well, you know. So what if I was looking for something else? What's something else? Look, my parents are quite wealthy and influential. However, I ended up estranged from them when I stood by my morals, when I couldn't condone something they were doing. From my conversation with them, it seemed like Amadeus might have been the real reason they were doing what they were. Is it such a crime to look around the office of a late asshole I was suspicious of? I didn't even find anything. Alright, settle down there, Rooster. That's a fair reason. I didn't mean to accuse you of anything. No, the fault is all mine. I apologize for losing control there. It's just these damn death games, they're starting to get to me. I thought I was cooler than this. It's a reasonable reaction. Not for a hero. And you're a hero? Well, you tell me. Am I a hero? Well, I mean... Sure you are! Rooster's eyes narrowed. Apparently it wasn't particularly convincing. Anyways, I gotta get going. Lots of things to do, after all. Well, good luck with all this, Mouse. We need something. We need someone to sort things out. If it's not me, it should be you. Just like that, our conversation was over. We're gonna run this back. You're not a hero. No one is. It's not healthy to put that sort of pressure on yourself. We're all just, you know, people. Flawed, imperfect people, trying our best. Yeah, that's the truth, ain't it? Rooster smiled an oddly somber smile. It was a side of him I hadn't seen before. That it is. Anyways, I gotta get going. Lots of things to do, after all. Good luck with all this, Mouse. Alright. I think that's gonna be my canon wrap, but we gotta see all these. I mean, obviously, I've gotten through a dangerous death game once before. And you're gonna do it once again. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You're exactly right, Mouse. Thank you. Don't mention it. Anyways, I gotta get going. Lots of things to do, after all. Well, good luck with all that. Actually, I'm gonna keep this one. Monkey? Monkey was Brian's therapist. Surely her input on this would be insightful. I went to ask her about that. It's something of a breach of patient-client confidentiality, but at this point I suppose that's a bit of a moot point. Anyways, I don't think he'll get much out of me. I tried to approach Brian on his own terms, but that appeared to have backfired somewhat. I should have stomped out his delusions at the root. You entertained his delusions? I let him talk out his ideas. It's often a useful tool to help people come to their senses on their own. For some reason, my guidance wasn't working. It's like he was somehow getting worse with every session. Worse? And it's more than just that. It was as though his theories, his delusions about what happened with his father, and how corrupt the system and society was, they'd become more elaborate. No, elaborate is not the right word. Detailed. It was as though he was becoming more and more knowledgeable on the topic. As he was becoming more knowledgeable, he was becoming more convinced in his worldview. Monkey sighed. But clearly someone was influencing him from outside of your purview, Monkey. At some point I definitely should have shifted tactics. I knew I was dealing with a larger scale sort of case. But I thought that just meant I had to take my time with him. At any rate... Sorry. If anything, it might have been useful to point out that he was getting more detailed and inquire as to why. That might have led somewhere, but I really don't blame you for trying what you tried. Not that it would lead to this. Anyways, I don't know if any of that was helpful to you. Oh, I think it was. Good to hear. I say, it might have been that outside perspective. That someone was influencing Brian's delusions. If you could call them that. I'm going to keep investigating things on my end. You do that. But Mouse... No, Mary. Ah! My heart stopped for a second. It had been a while since somebody had referred to me by my real name. Yes? Please, don't overextend yourself. It had been a while, I completely forgot. I don't even remember if Monkey mentioned that in our introduction. I know all of this is doing a number on you. I just don't want you to break. Huh, yeah, well... I get the feeling I'll need a lot more sessions after this. Indeed. Perhaps we should try hypnotherapy again. Oh god, please no. 3 long and boring sessions were enough for me, thank you. What can I say? I was very curious if it would work. Ah, there's that curiosity. Well, you got your answer. That I did. I smiled. It was nice. Through all the chaos and tragedy that I at least had Monkey to fall back on. Mouse, in all seriousness, are you doing okay? That's a pretty good question. I'm fine. After saying that, Monkey just stared at me for a few seconds. Then she sighed and simply said a single sentence. It is okay if you are not. And like that, the conversation was over. Oh. I left the classroom with an interesting fact under my belt. Interesting indeed. I don't know how I'm holding up. Oh? What an emotionally mature response. I'm impressed with your growth. Apologies. My growth? The old you would never have given such a measured response. Certainly not in a situation like this. Oh, well, thanks, I guess. You're welcome, I guess. On a slightly awkward note, our conversation ended. I'm actually in a pretty bad state. Well, that'd be expected, no? I'd say. Better take things easy. Obviously desperate times and desperate measures and all that. But don't underestimate the power of a clear mind. I won't. I'm gonna go with the emotionally mature response. Interesting fact under my belt. Who to talk to? Big. Pig was a journalist at the time. Not just that, she was perhaps the only totally unbiased perspective in all this. Surely asking her about the incident could be useful. Sorry, I don't really know if I'm gonna be useful about all that. Shit. I thought you did reporting on that at the time. I did. That was a while ago. I do a lot of reporting about a lot of things on top of my other couple jobs. Details I know are fuzzy. Probably a lot fuzzier than yours are. I don't think I could be of any help. Sorry. I sighed. I get if I just asked you about a case from thin air about how it'd be difficult for you. But after all this happened and you got free, surely you'd go back and relook at the case, right? I've been way too busy for that. After all, this new case is way more mysterious. Alright. Is there anything to know about the Zodiac Trial? Damn straight there is. There's a ton of weird details about this thing that don't make a lick of sense. Like, take Rooster and Sheep's kidnappings. Investigations surrounding it shows that they happened at different locations, miles apart, but they happened a couple of minutes within each other. I mean, the timeline's rough and all, but with generous assumptions on all regards, it doesn't make sense that a single teenager could handle everything. That is concerning. And that's not all. Did you know how pretty much every aspect of the Zodiac Race that wasn't automated could be controlled by a custom app that Brian created? Really? Yeah, and he has to install that app on 2 separate burner phones. Why 2? In fact, why put them on the phones at all? He also controlled it from the laptop that was found burned at his base. That is all strange. So what's the deal? Yeah, that feels like, gonna say, it feels like... I completely blanked out there, I apologize. So, yeah, maybe think twice before calling me useless. You're the one who called yourself useless. I've been busy looking into stuff like this. I don't know how useful looking into it is, though. It's super useful. At this, Pig just looked at me blankly. It seemed like she didn't believe me. Then after a pause, Pig spoke in a quiet voice. There is something useful I can do, I think. Apparently something useful was crashing OBS at the game. I think. What are you talking about? Look, this whole game thing, it's an obvious sloppy job. Don't get me wrong, it's functional, you know, it works. There wasn't nearly the time and care put into this that was put into the Zodiac Race. Looking at the computers, I could tell all the coding was done by an amateur. And so I think I can take advantage of that. Take advantage? How would you do that? The programs running on the computers, they're happening atop the computer's usual functions. You can tell that the programs were made using a very cookie-cutter application. That application has some exploits. It's possible I can get to the screen behind the program. That is to say, access the actual computer. With that, I could contact the authorities. I could get help. Or if that fails, I could look into the programming of these computers. Programs, see if I could uncover anything. I don't know exactly. I just know that I can do something. I feel obligated to do something. Pig. Ooh. Pig gets a more serious comment. Why not? That sounds awesome, Pig. Definitely try that next opportunity you get. This is a chance to turn things on the Mastermind's head. A chance to strike back. Exactly. I'm glad you see things my way. Alright then, I'll go ahead with this plan. This feels like it could go very badly for Pig. I don't want to be complacent anymore. No, I can't be passive anymore. On one hand, this feels like it could be really bad for Pig. On the other hand, this feels like this is positive growth for Pig. This is my life, you know, and my life on the line. I'm not just gonna roll over and die. That's for certain. With those oddly determined words, Pig walked away. Huh. It seemed to me that something had changed in Pig compared to the girl I met when I first woke up at that crappy high school. Good for her. That was pretty much everybody. Jesus Christ. As if on cue, I heard that 2-minute alarm ring out. I suppose this was the moment of truth, wasn't it? Time to find out what exactly we were dealing with. I moved right to the computer and watched it come to life. Okay, thank God. Then I nervously read the card list. Mouse of clubs. Ox of clubs. Ox of diamonds. Bunny of clubs. Benui. Bunny of diamonds. Benui. Dragon of clubs. Snake of hearts. Rooster of hearts. Rooster of clubs. Well, there you had it. We were dealing with an enemy. Can't say I didn't expect it. In theory, that enemy would be cut off at the pass now, as we'd find out their identity. Something about that felt unbelievable to me. I just didn't think it was particularly likely. Still, it's not like we could give up hope. Time to stick with the plan. Gave my mouse of hearts to Tiger. I prayed, hoping that was the right move. And then as the computer shut down, I left the classroom and started making my way to the library. Time to check the carnage. In the library, everybody just started looking at what was projected on the screen. Everyone's current scores were shown. Mouse has 0 points. Ox has 0 points. Tiger has 6 points. Benui has 0 points. Dragon has 0 points. Snake has 0 points. Horse has 0 points. Sheep has 0 points. Rooster has 0 points. Monkey has 0 points. Dog has -1 point. What? Pig has 0 points. Someone gave something to Dog. Dog has -1 points? So, this means... Snake was right. It's a traitor. We're doomed. Okay, everybody, let's keep calm and think about this. Does it mean that the traitor took the remaining Tiger card and gave it to Dog? What could this mean? It means that Dog is a Tiger card, right? I mean, math isn't my strong suit or anything, but if I understand the whole wheel thing right, a tiger card should be worth -1 point to him. So clearly he has a tiger card. How did that happen, though? I looked at him. He was... No one's disputing the fact that he was dead. Most likely, somebody gave him the tiger card. But, what's the fucking point of that? Isn't that dooming us all? Perhaps that is the point. Or it's to simply sow discord. Well, maybe the situation can be salvaged, right? If we could get that card from Dog. It can't be done. Didn't you hear the rules? Last time around, if someone operated your tablet, you'd be executed. But this time, operating someone else's computer gets you executed. In other words, there's no way to access his computer. There's no way to force someone to give up a card. Well, that's not necessarily true now, is it? Rooster? You've got an idea for us, don't you, buddy? Just because you'll be executed for using someone else's computer doesn't mean that you can't do it. That's a terrible idea, Rooster, but it might be the only idea. If you're quick enough, you could surely make at least one move. You just need someone expendable to sacrifice themselves for the group, which is totally not me. So go on now, one of you volunteer. Surely there must be at least one among you who wishes to die a martyr. Rooster, I don't know if that's enough. What's more important is the investigation results. What did everybody who checked someone find? Did anyone have more cards than they should have? Ox looked around the room, only to be met with a wave of shaking heads. What? Surely one of you saw something. Unfortunately, Ox, these results appear to indicate that the check gives you the number of cards person you looked at had at the end of the turn. I think someone could have handed off their tiger card to Dog, and we'd be none the wiser. It appeared the search was fruitless. Well then, first things first, a tiger win is off the table. Tiger, you should try and unload those points. Give your most valuable cards to the people who get the least amount of points from them. The rest of us will... I don't know. Keep checking the amount of cards each other has. I need to think. With an absent look in his eyes, Ox wandered off. Maybe pigs hacking was the right move, and like that the group began to scatter. But now we were directionless. We didn't have a plan. People were beginning to panic. Panic was beginning to spread. And that was the cat's true goal, wasn't it? Still, something about the results being shown seemed wrong to me. I decided to try pacing on the first floor. That always helps me focus. I walked around the whole area, focused on the results. What was wrong with them? What was rubbing me the wrong way? I tried concentrating quite a bit. I couldn't come up with it. I decided to look for Ox. He was a good person to bounce ideas off of. After a bit of search, we found Ox sitting in a classroom on the second floor. So, have you thought enough? I doubt I'd be able to think enough given a few hours, much less a few minutes. Basically, the issue I keep running into is the fact that we don't know who the traitor is. It also looks like the traitor intends to sink us, no matter the cost. If you also factor in the fact that Snake's theory about the cat relaying the right move to the traitor, combine it with the fact that the cat is specifically sending us the cards needed to mess with us. The possibility of a no-winner situation is a lot more likely than I'd like to admit. I think the best course of action is to, as I said, focus solely on checking each other. So make it incredibly difficult for the traitor to do much of anything. As the rounds go on, there will be more and more cards at the communal table. Eventually, when they're only adding 2 cards at a time, we'll regroup and try to come up with a better plan. I think that's a pretty reasonable idea. I think so too. But I don't particularly feel all that great about it. Yeah, I can see that. Say, do you think... To be honest, I don't quite know what I was planning on asking Ox. That train of thought was interrupted when I heard a loud scream. The scream of a woman. It came from a nearby classroom, somewhere on the same floor. Immediately, Ox and I ran out to try and identify the source of the noise. On the second floor, we saw Bunny and Monkey also running out from the nearby library. We didn't have time to talk. We just made our way to where the noise came from. the classroom where Dog's exploded body lay. Ox tried to push open the door, but something was blocking the way. He shoved on the door again and made but an inch's progress. Just then, Bunny moved Ox out of the way and began to shove on the door. With Bunny's efforts, it began to crack open. The door was blocked off by that bookshelf I had seen in the room earlier. Once there was enough room to enter, Bunny made his way in, as did the rest of us. Entering, immediately struck by the realization that this place was pitch black. Not just lights off black, but pitch black. Oh no, as our group slowly, blindly made our way into the room, I suddenly felt a body crashing into mine. I fell to the floor and landed squarely on my ass. Ow. I just said that as a reaction. That came as the next line. Okay. The commotion, it sounded like I wasn't the only person knocked into. This commotion, we heard the door slam shut. What the? That was my reaction as well. Shit. What the hell? Just as I was getting to my feet, the lights turned on. It appeared Ox had found the light switch by blindly patting on the wall. Once the light was on, Bunny ran over to the door. He tried to open, but he struggled to get it open. Damn it, someone's holding it shut. His determination to open the door was understandable. I wanted to see who had fled from the room. It struck me as rather odd. After all, in the other corner of the room, Pig was lying dead in a chair right by Dog's computer. His neck was slashed by some sort of bladed instrument. Oh fuck. Blood was all over the place. Pig. No. How on earth? Why would... Struggling to stay on my feet. Once again, someone who was alive but a half an hour ago lay dead in front of my eyes. Not just dead. Murdered. Finally, Bunny pried the door open. He made his way outside, and Monkey, Ox, and I immediately followed him. However, outside the room there was nobody to be seen. Then moments later, Tiger came running in from the left staircase. Hey, I heard commotion. What's going on? Right after that, Sheep ran in from the right staircase. I thought I heard a lot of shouting. Before long, everyone was gathered in the classroom. That gathering process had given me plenty of time to digest Pig's death. It wasn't sitting right with me. It felt cold, like a stone sitting in the bottom of my stomach. She didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve this at all. And yet, she died. It's like anyone might. She died. Murdered. By somebody. Like somebody in this school. I hated this. I hated this. I hated this. Oh no, focus. Put the switch. Let go of the fear. I shouldn't be scared. I should be angry. I should be livid. I should be determined to find the culprit. So, tell me if I'm getting this wrong. Mouse, Ox, Bunny, Monkey, and you all heard Pig scream out, probably from the whole being murdered thing. You went over to the scene of the crime. You tried to get in, but the criminals knocked over this bookcase to buy time. But still, you make your way in, determined to catch them. Unfortunately, it's too dark to see anything. And in this darkness, the killer makes their escape, knocking into the lot of you. That appears to be the case, yes. It's so frustrating. We had them. And yet in the darkness, the chaos, they somehow got away. I don't deserve to call myself a cop. Don't say that like being a cop is some fucking badge of honor. Still, I must ask, what was Pig doing here? By the looks of things, she was sitting down to use the computer. But I should note this is Dog's computer, not hers. The murder didn't even happen when the computer should have been usable. No. I think I know what happened to her. You do? Pig said that she was going to try and hack into one of these computers to try and help us all. I encouraged her. And here she is. Dead. This is my fault. To me, she went ahead and did something stupid. And now she's dead. Mouse, calm down. Remember to breathe. Listen to me. This isn't your fault. The only person at fault, the only person possibly at fault, is the killer. Not you. But then, if Pig was doing something that might expose the mastermind, doesn't that mean the person who killed Pig was the mastermind? I don't think that's possible. There are too many people in this school walking around. If they went inside, the chances that someone would stumble across them are pretty high. Just don't see them taking a risk. So then, Pig's killer is one of us? There's an imposter? Among Us? Among Us confirmed? Then why would any of us kill Pig? We already discussed the possibility of a traitor, did we not? Pig attempted something the mastermind would not like. It's reasonable to assume that a traitor may act on their behalf. No one knew what to say to that. It's truly tragic. If only I had known what Pig was doing in this room when I tried to enter earlier, I wouldn't have left so early. Wait, you came by here earlier, Snake? Yes. Unfortunately, the door was locked then. Locked? Do you mean it was blocked by a bookshelf? No, I mean it was locked. I can tell the difference. Oh. Anyways, after discovering that it was locked, I left the area. Eventually I ran into Bunny, who was interviewing Rooster in a classroom on the first floor. I can confirm that. Inspired by Mouse, I've been trying to get people's statements on various things, to see if that'll help us sort out anything else. After Snake entered, I finished my interview with Rooster. Wandered for a bit until I found Monkey reading a book in the library. Indeed, Bunny did catch me reading in the library. Two of us had an interesting chat. From there, until we were interrupted by... Monkey didn't feel like saying anything beyond that. We could fill in the gaps ourselves. So, you know what that means? What? It means it wasn't me. After all, I was always with someone the entire round. Thus, I am cleared from suspicion. Trust me, Rooster, nobody thought you were behind this. Now, hey, what's that supposed to mean? Are we done here? If so, I want to leave. I've no desire to be in a room with a murderer. Or a dead body. Yeah, this place stinks. Like that, one by one, everybody funneled out of the room. Till eventually it was just Ox and I in the room. So, it appears the group's not even going to attempt to solve this case. What do you expect? They're not a crime-solving team, they're a bunch of scared strangers who have a really high possibility of dying very soon. I suppose. But the only way we can certainly put an end to this is to stop the traitor. Ox, who do you even think the traitor is? Like, what are they getting out of it? It could be any number of things. Perhaps the traitor is being blackmailed. Maybe they're doing it for money. Maybe they're in league with our captor. Although in that last scenario, I would also have to try to figure out our captor's motive. Another rather significant mystery. You're right. Last time sucked, but I could get what the Jade Emperor was going for. This very clearly was a weird act of revenge, as well as a really roundabout way of testing our characters. But this? It's as though it's being done for... I don't know how else to see it other than it was being done for fun. Some twisted psychopath's version of fun at any rate. You're not incorrect. Still, it's probably a waste of time to try and solve such big picture things. Instead, let's try and do what we can here. Do what we can, huh? Yeah, that seems about right. Pig. I didn't know you super well, but you seem decent. At the very least, I'm convinced you risked your life trying to save us all. Might have not have worked out, but I won't let your death be in vain. So then, time to begin investigating. Oh, right, hell yeah. Investigation start. Sorry, I just have that investigation theme from Danganronpa V3 in my head. It feels thematically appropriate right about now. The one with the sick guitar riff. Was that 3 or 2? V3 or 2? Either way, the one with the sick guitar riff. Real serious banger. Alright. The door. I decided to give the actual door to the room a look. The doorway was right by the western wall. Snake mentioned the room being locked earlier. After looking at it, sure enough, from inside the room the door handle had a turnable lock on it. Weird. Really weird. I guess Snake was telling the truth. Probably. Doesn't that bring up a whole new set of problems? I mean, why bother with knocking over the bookshelf if the door already had a lock on it? Well, perhaps the killer didn't know about the room's lock. In that case, how did the killer get in the room in the first place? I mean, right? If Pig locked the door to hide her hacking, which, you know, fair enough, then how'd the killer get access? I don't know, Mouse. It's certainly odd. I kept looking at the door, looking for anything out of place. I wonder if we hadn't encouraged Pig, if she just would have tried to do it anyway. I can't see there being that big of a branch this late in the game. That's when I saw it. Is this glue? Let me see. Ox moved closer to inspect what I was looking at. Sure enough, there seemed to be traces of glue on the side of the door and the inside of the doorway. This actually makes a certain amount of sense. There's surely a lot of glue around this school. Might have been some in this very room. The killer was manually holding the door so Bunny couldn't open it. They'd be by the scene of the crime when he finally got it open. So instead, the killer must have glued the side of the door before fleeing to hold us off. Right. For once, something was adding up at this crime scene. Just to be sure, I kept inspecting the door, looking for anything else out of place. I thought this was just a waste of time until I noticed something else. High up in the crack between the door and its hinges, I saw some more traces of glue. Now, what would glue be doing up there? I suppose it could also be there to try and keep the door locked, but it's certainly not where one would typically apply glue. I made sure to take mental note of that. High-up glue added to the court record. Bookshelf. I decided to take a look at the bookshelf that had blocked our way earlier. It was still toppled to the floor, pushed away from the northern wall by the door opening. A bunch of books were all piled on the floor next to it. With all those books on the floor, I noticed something. This is weird. What's weird? All the books are out of the bookshelf. That tends to happen when it's shoved down and pushed away, Mouse. No, I mean all the books have fallen out. I get spillage, but surely there'd still be some books inside the bookshelf. But instead, they're all on the floor around it. Huh, you're right. It's as though the books were thrown onto the floor before the bookcase toppled. Why would anybody do that? Don't ask me. While we're noting oddities, I think I found something strange as well. Hit me with it. Bam. Looking at the marks on the floor, it appears that the bookcase was pushed towards the eastern wall before even being toppled. If it was shoved down from where it initially stood, it would have completely blocked off the doorway. Hell, it might have hit the western wall. This bookcase was shoved away from that wall, and then toppled over. Huh. Well, I can actually think of an explanation for that. As I said, if it was shoved when it was already standing, where it was already standing could have impacted the western wall. The bookcase was just leaning against the wall. It would have been a lot easier to shove out of the way. Maybe the culprit thought of that ahead of time and moved the bookshelf a bit before shoving it down. In fact, that might explain the books as well. Oh, okay, so if they've toppled it where it was standing, and it hits the wall on the other side, then it's sort of like propped up and could be more easily shoved over. While if it was completely knocked down on its side, it's on the ground, so you have to push the full weight of it to shove it away to open the door. With all the books out of the bookshelf, it'll be a lot lighter and easier to move. If that was the case, the killers sure had their wits about them. Notice that the bookshelf was too close to the wall, and then to empty the bookshelf just to move it slightly before shoving it over. Was that a reasonable explanation? Was that a reasonable sequence of events? Windows? Windows definitely drew attention. The blinds were covering them, but it wasn't just that. The blinds were taped down onto the wall to completely seal out all potential light. The duct tape used to do it was sitting conspicuously on a student's desk. So the killer taped down the window blinds. Guess they really didn't want us seeing them, which makes sense, of course. But Ox, when did they have the time to do this? I mean, there's two windows on the south wall, and they're both taped up. After killing Pig, did the killer really have time for something like that? Well, it's not like we got to the scene instantly. Plus, the door was blocked, so that surely bought us some time. So you're saying that the murder went something like... Killer slashes Pig. She cries out in pain. Immediately the killer runs over to the bookshelf and topples it to buy time. Then they grab some duct tape and quickly tape the blinds over the windows. Finally, they turn off the lights and wait. Presumably right as we're getting in. We're finally getting in. That's what the scene would suggest. Sure, but for the killer to immediately spring into action like that, it seems unbelievable. But we're not dealing with an amateur, that's for sure. Whoever the killer is, they're intelligent, determined, and dangerous. I don't think we can go back as far as I want right now. What are you seeing? Tiger came running from the left. Sheep ran in from the right. I go back and look at that because some people considering the fact that dog covered his mouth before he died. Sort of a hint towards monkey. It's entirely possible. They're also trying to decode what the 3 meant. They go by the 3rd animal of the Zodiac. That's tiger. And tiger was one of the 2 who showed up late. I'm gonna be really mad if the traitor turns out to be sheep for some reason. It's frightening, to be sure. It sure is, Ox. It sure is. Okay, put it off for long enough. You couldn't do an investigation without examining a dead body, right? But disgusting as it was, I had to take a look. Sure enough, Pig's body was collapsed onto the seat, facing towards the computer. The computer just had the same waiting screen of all the computers did. Pig had hacked the computer, it sure didn't show it. Her neck was slit with a bladed object, and she probably bled to death very quickly after that. Sitting on the desk next to the computer was that damn golden knife from Dog, covered in blood. So then Pig was killed with a golden knife. One would assume. That seems weird to me. Oh, and why is that? I mean, think about it. Where'd they get the knife? From Dog's exploded body, I'd imagine. I mean, the explosion wasn't that big. It mostly affected the stomach. See, look, the bottom half of his legs are mostly fine. Surely the culprit could have gotten the knife from Dog's boot. Okay, first up, disgusting. Secondly, that's my point. Someone just grabs a knife from Dog's corpse and Pig just keeps on hacking away? She might not have noticed if she was focused enough on her hacking. Would she just keep on obliviously hacking if anyone was in the room with her? I mean, we were on high alert, thinking there was a traitor among us. Must have been someone Pig trusted. But it's Pig we're talking about. She doesn't trust anyone. Given the situation, do you think there was anybody among us that she would trust? I suppose not. In my opinion, in the state of the crime, I think that the most likely situation is that the culprit walked into the room and slit Pig's neck without her even noticing. That's why the weapon is messing with me. There's no way the killer could have collected it without Pig noticing. Well, then what are you saying? What does this mean? Feels obvious. I think the killer must have taken the weapon from Dog at an earlier point. An earlier point? I suppose it's possible. But don't you think it's a little coincidental that the scene from which they stole the weapon just so happened to be where they later murdered? This kind of seems a little too convenient. I mean, you're right. But I don't know. It was a confusing situation. But surely it meant something, right? I took the information in the back of my mind and kept on going. I think that's about everything to look at here. I have to agree. So, did you figure anything out? To be honest, I couldn't say that I did. At the very least, I had figured out that something wasn't right. It's just really exhausting. don't have time to be exhausted, frankly. Sad, but true. God, why does everything have to be so complicated? Well, let's try to keep things simple. Let's think about who could have messed with the tiger cards. Horse and tiger, sheep and snake, rooster and monkey all couldn't have grabbed that spare card. Leaves you, me, dragon, bunny, and pig. So the killer has to be someone from that list? It's me. It was me all along, mouse. Stab. That would be my assumption. In that case, let's try and narrow things down a bit more. Pig's the victim, so she's out. You, me, and Bunny were all accounted for when the murder occurred, so we're out. Which leaves... Dragon? You think Dragon's the killer? It's certainly what logic would dictate. I couldn't argue with Ox's logic, but the idea that Dragon was behind this felt wrong. We'd spent quite some time locked up together with dogs. For her to be behind something like this... It didn't sit well in my stomach. I don't know, Ox, we might be making some bad assumptions. We might be. So I will confront her in private about this next round. But for now, we should probably get going. This round's certainly almost over. I think we've gotten all we can from this place. Agreed. With that, we left the crime scene and made our way back to our computers. On the way, we passed the library, which had its doors completely shut. Hey, the doors to the library weren't completely shut like this, were they? I turned around. Ox was right. They weren't. I don't like where this is going. Despite saying that, I immediately walked right over to the doors and opened them. Don't be a corpse, don't be a corpse, don't be a corpse. Damn it! A fucking corpse! Lying down, blood gushing from his neck, was the pitiful figure of Rooster. Oh! Damn it! This can't be. Another victim. Seriously? How long could this go on? How long until this nightmare would end? Another death, another... Hold on. My god, he's not actually dead yet. You're right. We need to stifle the bleeding. Spurred into action, I rushed towards Rooster's body. Looked around for something to use, and I saw a box of tissues. It wasn't ideal, but it would have to do. Immediately took tissues out by the dozen, and began pushing them on Rooster's neck. Trying to do something to stop the blood from completely leaking out. Ox ran in behind me with a tape dispenser. Taped the tissues I was pressing against Rooster onto his neck. Used a copious amount of tape to the point where it probably stopped mattering. After that. What else do we do? I don't know if there's anything else we can do. It's not like there's any serious medical supplies around here. Or anyone with experience. Hopefully with this, he might not completely die before we get around. Although even that's optimistic. That's... Once again, I can feel the weight of my heart. After trying to save him like this, Rooster would be... Quit it! Time was precious. As I'm hoping, I looked around the scene. I looked at things. Rooster had been stabbed twice in rapid succession on the left side of his neck. A bloody pen lay a few feet away from him. Oh, thank God. Must have been the makeshift weapon. Fortunately, no knife. The whole thing looked like a spur-of-the-moment conflict. Rooster was collapsed right next to a desk. Took a few steps back and looked around. A few feet away from the desk, a massive dictionary was left on the ground. I walked over and picked it up. It had quite a bit of weight to it. Mouse, what are you doing? Investigating. Are you? Yeah, I am. Are you? That's... Ox, a murder happened right under our noses. We were in the room just by here, and yet someone ends up dead so close by. And this time there isn't a clear motive. If we don't do something soon, we're all gonna die. Correct, people's lives are on the line. So I'm asking why you're picking up a fucking book when a man is bleeding to death right there. It's not a book, it's a clue. If we could argue anymore, the 2-minute warning alarm sounded. Looks like we don't have time to discuss anything more. Looks like it. Let's quickly handle that, then get everyone back here. Agreed. Like that, the two of us ran down the stairs and down the hallway. Making my way to the classroom, I noticed something the way Ox had noticed something earlier. I could have sworn that the restroom door wasn't actually closed all the way before, but it was slightly propped open. I paused my jog for just a quick diversion as I looked in. Immediately I knew why I wanted to check. The restroom was used at this point. It would be used for one reason. Sure enough, I could see traces of blood having been washed away in the sink. Didn't have time to register that, though. Need to get back to my classroom. Computer turned on pretty much right away when I entered the room. I already knew I was just going to check Pig. However, as I moved my cursor to the button, I did a once-over the community table. Mouse of clubs, ox of diamonds, tiger of clubs, what? Bunny of clubs, bunny of diamonds, banui of diamonds, dragon of clubs, snake of hearts, rooster of clubs, rooster of diamonds, rooster of spades, monkey of hearts, monkey of clubs, monkey of diamonds, monkey of spades, what? Wait, what? Before I could even double-check what I had seen, my hand had already pressed the button to check Pig. The screen paused for a moment and then displayed 0 cards. And like that, I was left with emptiness. No, not emptiness. Room. A single piece of evidence may only be a spark. If you make a spark in a room full of gunpowder, you could really stir shit up. I remembered a conversation I had with my dad. I asked him how he built a defense for a client. Father, it's a lot like playing dominoes. Dominoes? Yes, dominoes. But I can play dominoes. Well, then you might make a great defense lawyer someday. See, first you have the evidence discovery period. That's where you learn all the facts of the case. You collect testimonies, evidence, expert opinions. Every piece of information, each one's a domino being placed. You don't really see it at first, but they're all a bunch of dominoes. At some point, you're going to get a domino that wobbles. Something that doesn't make sense. Let that domino fall, it's going to knock over another domino. That one might knock over 2 more dominoes. If you've done your job right, and you've collected all the information you needed, and your client really is innocent, you should end up knocking over all the dominoes in one fell swoop. I don't really get it. Ah well, maybe I'm being a bit too metaphorical about this. Basically, I don't really do a lot of work. That's not true. I work all the time. It's true, I collect a lot of evidence, and find a lot of laws to cite. And in terms of mounting a defense, don't do a lot of work. Just keep an open and keen mind, and eventually the prosecution's case won't fit together. Once I think about what that contradiction means, it will naturally lead to another thing that doesn't make sense, and so on. I found that the truth has a way of getting out, like it or not. The only question is whether or not you're going to be receptive to the calls of that truth. That's right. You just need to be receptive to the truth. I had collected so much information throughout all this. So many dominoes. It's impossible for so many things to happen without a pattern beginning to form. It's honestly kind of simple. First, I needed to look at the parts that didn't make sense. Then I needed to make them make sense. In order to make them make sense, I need to come to some sort of answer. If that answer made other things not make sense, I just need to repeat the process. Until all the dominoes had fallen down. Oh wow! This is a final deduction if I think about it. Oh god. Alright. Rules of the Zodiac Race. Attention, attention. Attention to all animals present. Please take a seat, face the TV, and put on your animal masks. The introduction is about to begin. Introduction? I guess this is what they meant when they said the Jade Emperor will appear. Just a projection. Figures. What, are you fucking serious? What a load of bullshit. Come now. At this point, you might as well just go along with it and hear what they have to say. Why do they want us to put on our animal masks, though? Who cares? Let's just do it. Agreed. After a bit of commotion, everyone complied. I wonder if that's a weird point in all this. We all sat in the various seats around the cafeteria and put the animal masks over our heads. Once everyone had done so, the television flickered on. There before us was the Jade Emperor, leaning back in a chair. I couldn't tell where he was sitting. The room behind him was too dark. However, it seemed that this was the live feed. The Jade Emperor wore a mask, which completely covered his face, as well as the green hoodie, jeans, and some gloves. I couldn't help but notice that by his left hand I could see a part of a butterfly tattoo sticking out. You all, if you have not yet realized, will be the 12 Zodiac animals who will participate in my race. I knew it. You might ask why you are animals. There are a number of good answers to this question, but to put it simply, you all live your lives with the awareness of animals. You go about day by day without a goddamn care in the world, peacefully moving onwards, never stopping back to reflect or apologize for your sins. Your murder. Sins? What are you talking about? Well, don't even pretend you don't know, you filthy, glory-hungry liar. You see, perhaps not all of you know it, but the 12 of you were the jury of a particular trial. Of course you weren't the actual jury, I don't blame them. What it means is that each of you made selfish or stupid choices. Each of you were complicit. Each of you were decided to help hang on an innocent man for a murder he did not commit. And this idea you all have, that you just get to walk away from that and not look at what you have done, it's sickening. It's not fair. You all deserve a chance to be punished. You all must be tried. This is what we're doing today. A Zodiac Trial. A trial? You mean to say that there's going to be a case against us or something? Perhaps my word choice has given off the wrong impression. Initially, I had an idea more similar to that. However, I think instead we shall settle this with a race. A race fitting for the beasts you are. What are the rules for this race? Finally, someone is asking the proper questions. Please take a look at this display. As you can see, your 12 animals are lined up on the left, going from top to bottom in the order they come on the calendar. We also notice there are 24 spaces between the starting line for the animals and the end of it. The aim of this race is to use the tablets provided to move your animal to the finish line as quickly as possible. So that's what these are for. Before continuing, I think it would be pertinent to address a certain rule you will all likely find important. Each tablet may only be operated by its owner. Additionally, the owner must be alone in a room when using it. If you operate your tablet with another person in the room, if someone else operates your tablet, you will be instantly executed. Executed? God damn it. A dismaying but expected announcement. What the fuck? Hey asshole, you think you can kill me that easily? Oh, but I can. Well, you see, each of your necklaces are outfitted with a devious device. When you push of a button, knives on the inside of the collar will come out, cleanly slicing your necks open, leaving you to die. How does it feel, knowing that just like that, you could be executed? Dead. Feel fun? Is it enjoyable for you, scum? So we're going to die? No, you only push that button if we break your rules, right? There's a bit more to it than that, but you're right in that I won't kill you for no reason. There'd be no point to any of this if I was just a senseless murderer. No, I guarantee that if all of you behave appropriately, every single one of you can leave here alive. And what does that entail? The race will consist of 12 rounds. If no animals are able to get to the finish line at the end of the 12th round, all of you will be executed. Every round will last 45 minutes. All participants must take an action within those 45 minutes. If a participant does not take an action during a round, they will be executed. At the end of the round, the animals take their actions in order from the top of the screen to the bottom. Using the tablet, there are a few available actions to choose from. All animals are able to simply run. Choosing to run will move your animal one space forwards. You may also choose to use your animal ability. I don't need to read all this out, we've seen this before. We're in the rules part now. Confess. Confession. Spaces, what are they ranking judged on? I think the most surprising was the done, most mostly delivered. Have for yourself. Use an item. What a childish game for us to stake our lives on. No! What, seriously? Run the race up to you. Hey Brian, I gotta ask you something. Brian? Brian? What are you talking about? Brian, buddy, where is he? Where's who? You told me I'd be seeing my old pal Ollie here. I'm not seeing him right now. What's up with that? Unceremoniously, the television cut off. Okay. Let's review the rules of the Zodiac Hit this button to help advance Mouse's reasoning. If you're stuck, it's okay to ask for a hint. Once you get a hint, try pondering for a bit before asking for another. Oh, okay. So we're gonna be... So this is a sort of pre-screen before... Okay, we've been through the timetable before Dog died. We discussed these with Pig. Might review these two yet. Rules of the Zodiac bid. Attention, bidders. Please be silent. Very important announcement is about to begin. Anyone who disrupts said announcement shall be punished. Cat burning in hell. Very crude art style. Hello, dear friends. Glad to see you all back together again. I'm sure you missed each other. I'm sure you missed the thrill of the race. I know you previously met with the Jade Emperor. Put you all on trial and you passed his gauntlet fine enough. But then are you all free to rejoin the world? I think not. I think he was too kind on my fellow sinners. What does that mean? So it falls on me, the cat, to truly put you all to the test. I'm sure you're... Suddenly Monkey spoke out. Okay, that's enough. I can't do this whole thing again. Whoever's behind this, stop hiding behind these masks. I'm sure with an earnest discussion we could figure out how to... All of a sudden, Monkey winced in pain, clutching her stomach. That, my friends, is what you call a warning. The next person to interrupt my explanation will be silenced in a much more permanent manner. We all got the point. Experience before. Details. Property removed. Execute. Entering the building with... juicy bits. The gameplay facing off in the rules of the Zodiac bid. Scoring works in this game. Collect animal cards. Find point values. Your cards are worth 3 points to you. Ox and Pig are on either side. On either side of her, so those are 2 points. Tiger and Dog cards are worth 1 point. Bunny Rooster cards, nothing. Dragon and Monkey, -1. Snake and Sheep, -2. Horse be -3. Ox and Pig got the hands of the mouse card and worth 2 points. -3 points, simple enough. 48 cards for every animal. 9 cards will be dealt on the communal table. Next 3 rounds, 6 cards will be dealt. 4 rounds, 3 card. 4 rounds, 3 cards will be dealt. Final 3 rounds will commence without any cards being dealt. 30 minutes. Communal table will be displayed. 33 seconds. We take an action. You don't die. Operating not your computer will give me you die. 4 actions you can take. Take a card. If you're the only one to take the card, you get it. Multiple people take it, the card dies. Nobody takes it, the card remains. Cards in your hand, you can choose to set a card on the communal table. I need to see the wheel again. It's twice in this video, game broke. Anyway, I wanted to load back to here anyways, because it could actually show the wheel. Just to sorta give ourselves some idea of what could have happened. Capture cursor, okay. Cursor captured. Possibly. Yes, okay. So, Tiger. So, Tiger card gets 3 points, 2, 1, 0, -1. This is Dog's place. Blacked out because he's dead. So correct that if Dog had been given Tiger's card, Dog would have -1 point. So who else is 4 spaces away from Tiger? Horse. What's my point of that? Horse is also 4 spaces away from Dog. So if someone had given Dog a horse card, Dog would be showed -1. But if Pig had picked up the Tiger card, 1, 2, 3, that's 0 points for Pig. Pig could have, in theory, picked up the Tiger of Spades, and then set the Tiger of Spades. One, two, three. Could have also, in theory, happened with Snake, but I think that's how the Tiger of Spades got back. I don't know what this means for Pig and for the mysteries going forward, but I think that's what happened in this case. I think that would solve the mysteries of the rounds of the Zodiac bid. We just saw this. We viewed this with Pig. We viewed this in Chateau Dog. Let's view this. The following cards were on the communal table at the start of the first round. Mouse of Hearts, Ox of Hearts, Tiger of Hearts, Tiger of Clubs, Tiger of Diamonds, Tiger of Spades, Benui of Hearts, Dragon of Hearts, Snake of Hearts. Okay. Mouse of Hearts, Ox of Hearts, Tiger of Hearts, Tiger of Clubs, Tiger of Spades, Benui of Hearts, Dragon of Hearts, Snake of Hearts. They took the Mouse of Hearts. Ox claimed to take the Ox of Hearts. Tiger claimed to take the Tiger of Hearts. Bunny claimed to take the Bunny of Hearts. Dragon claimed to take the Dragon of Hearts. Snake claimed to take the Tiger of Diamonds. Horse claimed to take the Tiger of Hearts. Sheep claimed to take the Tiger of Diamonds, so that's Hearts and Diamonds are destroyed. Rooster claimed to take the Tiger of Spades. Monkey claimed to take the Tiger of Spades, so that's the Tiger of Spades destroyed. Pig claimed to check Snake, who didn't have a card at the start of the round, at the end of the round. Following cards are on the communal table at the start of the second round. Mouse of Clubs, Ox of Clubs, Ox of Diamonds, Benui of Clubs, Benui of Diamonds, Dragon of Clubs, Snake of Hearts, Rooster of Hearts, Rooster of Clubs. Gave the Mouse of Hearts to Tiger. Ox claimed to give the Ox of Hearts to Tiger. Tiger claimed to check Ox, reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Benui claimed to give the Bunny of Hearts to Tiger. Dragon claimed to give the Dragon of Hearts to Tiger. Snake claimed to check the Dragon. Reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Horse claimed to check Bunny. Had no cards at the end of the round. Sheep claimed to check Dog. Who had one card at the end of the round. So who took something in the first round that could have been given to Dog? Rooster claimed to check Mouse, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. Monkey claimed to check Pig, who reportedly had no cards at the end of the round. It's actually unclear what Pig did this round. Nothing one thought to check. Whoops. In the round 2, people had the following scores. Mouse at 0 points, Ox at 0, Tiger at 6. 2 2s and 2 1s, Bunny at 0, Dragon at 0, Snake at 0, Horse at 0, Sheep at 0, Rooster at 0, Monkey at 0, Dog at -1. I'm actually going to save here a second and go back to the... We're going to fast backwards here. Dog had 1 card and -1 points. The other one we could have had was... Okay, what? So Pig picks up the Tiger of Clubs. Pig passes that to Dog. Give Dog -1. This time, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that. You get 0 points. The following cards can tip the start of the third round. Mouse of clubs, ox of clubs, ox of diamonds. Tiger of clubs. Bunny of clubs, bunny of diamonds, dragon of clubs, snake of hearts. Rooster of hearts, rooster of clubs, rooster of diamonds, rooster of spades. Monkey of hearts, monkey of clubs, monkey of diamonds, monkey of spades. Ah. I feel like Pig's hacking had to have influenced. The only thing that makes sense is that Pig took the tiger of clubs. Pig passed it to Dog, then Pig somehow hacked it back onto the table. Pig had 0 cards, Dog had 1. Dog had -1 points. Oh. At any rate, I leave you here. I feel like I've recalled this stuff that wasn't in the immediate past. But if you want me to recall more before I move forward, let me know in the comments. We'll do that next time on the Zodiac Trial. Until then.